Ruby by Raul Garza. Scene 1, Sunny Meadow, day. Ruby glides in, admiring the flora. Simon enters. He watches Ruby, careful to remain unseen. Ruby stops, unwraps something edible and feasts. She pauses occasionally to check her surroundings. Simon approaches timidly, prepares to introduce himself. Ruby senses his presence. She drops the food and exits. Simon's gaze follows Ruby. He crouches to examine the remnants of her feast, then cleans up the mess. End scene. Scene 2, hospital room. Belen sits at bedside. Bed faces upstage. Belen stares at monitor. Boris enters, hiding small box.
You just missed it.
Missed what?
There was definitely, intrinsic activity.
Definitely?
Well, almost. It's like he's trying so hard to, connect the dots. I can feel it.
New patient?
Dr. Macy's. I'm assisting, but
No buts. We've talked about this.
my therapeutic protocol could get him to another level.
Right, and you think the hospital is just going to turn him over to you? Endorse an approach that hasn't even been through clinical review?
I'm working on that.
He's not your patient.
Not yet.
You are unstoppable.
Boris reveals box.
Happy anniversary. Exactly 18 months ago today, in a busy little cafe, you said yes. And that changed everything.
Oh, Boris, that's sweet.
I know. I just couldn't.
Boris pulls out a cupcake.
What am I going to do with you?
How about this?
Boris leans in.
Boris, we're at work.
One kiss?
Boundaries.
Okay. Wow.
You know I'm trying to get leadership on board to continue my research. And we're making amazing strides. I don't want to look like I'm
In love?
influencing a colleague who could or could not provide patient referrals when the time comes.
Okay. Colleague. Message received.
I'll make it up to you. I promise. This weekend.
I thought your shift ended at 2.
Yeah, well, I decided to keep watching. Just in case.
I watch you sometimes.
Really?
When you sleep.
I don't know how I feel about that.
The brilliant, rapturous Belen. Dreaming.
What do you see?
Something beautiful.
Peaceful?
Content. That's what it is. Just floating along a dream cloud of it's all goods.
Maybe it is.
Am I in your dreams?
Boris, you're in my reality. Besides, you know that dreams are just a tiny manifestation of our unconscious.
The tip of the iceberg. I love how passionate you are about this project.
Boris, please. You know how I am with compliments.
Carrot cake with cream cheese icing. Your favorite.
Maybe later. I'm not really...
I looked into some quick getaways online. 3 or 4 days max.
Trip? Now?
Maybe to your secret dream place.
And what would that be?
Mexico. The rich ancestral homeland you...
And how would you know my secret dreams?
Because maybe you talk in your sleep. Or maybe I just know.
A little hammock for two, sunset margaritas. Someday?
Can someday be now?
You're being romantic. I like that. I love that.
Do you love this?
That's a strange question.
Do you love us?
Let's see. 2 full years
2 glorious years,
of mutual devotion.
including the longest engagement in modern history.
Come on, you know we agreed that when the time is right, we...
Don't get upset. It's just maybe we make the time right.
What if we like the way things are? At home, an adoring roommate cleverly disguised as sexy lover. And at work, a loyal team of brilliant neuroscientists, dangerously close to a game-changing therapy discovery.
For you, I'd wait forever.
Belen looks around. She kisses Boris half-heartedly.
But please, don't make me.
Boris exits. End scene. Scene 3, meadow. Simon sits on ground with picnic laid out beside him. Ruby enters. She notices the food. She's tempted, but resists.
Please, join me.
Ruby quickly devours the food. Ruby walks around silently.
I love a good breeze, a good solid breeze, don't you? The kind that makes the branches sway and clouds shapeshift like 1, 2, 3, go! That's what I like. And real flowers. Hibiscus, poppies, the loudmouth blood orange kind that swoon and swoop and just practically change your whole outlook. Hibiscus. You raucous little seducer, what with the king of the jungle gaze and lava red juiciness just melting out of the sweet golden tongue. Full many of the flower was born to go unseen. Not on my watch, mister.
My name's...
You can keep your roses. Way too fussy if you ask me. I mean, don't they just bring out the narcissist in a body? And gardenia, you complicated little introvert, must you hide your spine-tingling essence in a mound of waxy white folds? I don't do white.
You're really into this.
Oh, it's one of my passions. Thank you, by the way, for the...
My pleasure. I've been, well, I noticed you.
So you've been watching me, is what you're saying.
Well, it's more like
I like that.
Thank you.
Where was I? Oh, Campeche. Some call it subtropical ecosystem. Some call it paradise. Wild orchids, passion fruit, and these towering magical trees where the Mayan gods abide. Can you even imagine the bouquet and colors and perfumes? I did tell you I'm going there, right? Campeche? Southern Mexico? West of the Yucatan? Gorgeous beaches, lush, wild honeysuckle, oceans of fuchsia.
When?
I don't know exactly. Isn't that odd?
Maybe you'd like some company?
Oh, I'm meeting someone there.
Who?
I don't know exactly. Isn't that odd? But I do know the way.
So, you've been before?
Never.
But you know the way.
Well, aren't you sweet? Here we haven't even officially met and you're already worried about me.
Terribly sorry. I'm Simon.
Ruby,
They shake hands. It's sweet, but awkward.
Are you sure I can...
I know where I'm going, where I need to be, when I'll get there. Do you?
Well, I guess I never really...
It's all up here.
You're fascinating.
It's lovely to meet you, Simon. Good luck in is it you do?
I'm an accountant, so was an accountant. See, I'm kind of in the middle of a career change, a life change. Follow your bliss.
You do that.
It sounds easy, right? Like one day you can just drop everything, your responsibilities, not to mention your mortgage, and just let go.
You can.
So you're saying that we can...
Goodbye, Simon. Thank you. This is beautiful.
Ruby exits. End scene. Scene 4, Dr. Belen's office. Belen working at desk. Eva enters and hesitates at doorway. Belen senses her presence, looks up, and motions her in.
I don't know how to do this, Doctor. Call me Belen. And you are? Eva. There's nothing to be nervous about. Wait. You look really familiar. Do I know you from somewhere? I know you from somewhere. I never forget a face.
Eva awkwardly sits. Flashback. The two rearrange, change wardrobe or hair, or just reestablish their postures. Something that says, that was then. Belen, frozen. Sound indicates public ladies' room at a busy restaurant.
Hey, you all right? It's just, I think my boyfriend is about to propose. Congratulations! Or not? It is logical You know, like, his practice is going strong. He's an attending brain therapy physician.
Ooh.
I know. It's just, what if I regret it?
Muchacha, I speak from experience. You'll regret it every day of your life, but not half as much as you'll revel in it. The thing is, you found it together. Are you soulmates? Because Simon and me, we are total soulmates.
I don't really believe in the whole soulmate thing.
You just gonna leave him hanging? The poor guy is dying 1,000 deaths out there.
Oh, right. I mean, yes.
So it's a yes.
It is a yes.
Belen turns to leave.
Whoa. This is a life-changing moment. You're gonna go out there like that? Give the man a little color. Something, mujer, please.
I know. It's just hospital rounds. Not exactly the most glamorous.
Lucky for you.
Eva pulls out a lipstick from her purse. She motions, "Come here," to Belen, then puts lipstick on her. Eva
Yeah.
admires her work.
That is a face that could launch 1,000 souls. You may now kiss the groom.
Eva hands her the lipstick.
This is my good luck color.
Belen reads off the lipstick case.
Rapturous Ruby.
Belen admires her new look, then exits. Return to present. Wardrobe, sound, position, shift as need to say, we're back in the place from the 4-hour flashback.
Dr. Macy said to see you about...
Protocols.
Is he a vegetable? Simon?
Oh, Simon.
That is what you call it, right?
Unfortunately, or fortunately, it's not that black and white. When it comes to brain trauma, we typically refer to a
Will he
15-point
speak
scale,
again?
the Glasgow scale, to determine the outcome of to provide a developmental benchmark for ongoing
Will he
therapies.
what?
And the brain is as mysterious as it is powerful. We do our best, but none of us can predict the return of Simon
he
or
be
anyone for that
normal?
matter. Motor, verbal, visual. Miss, what's
Eva. And can you do us both a favor and spare me the bullshit?
I'll be as forthcoming as I can.
Because I find that extremely patronizing.
I can understand how you, got it. Simon's vital functions are stable, and there's hope we can stimulate a response at some point.
Hope?
You said to be direct.
I said to spare me the bullshit.
I know you've heard this before, but it bears repeating. Traumatic brain injury is an excruciatingly slow recovery.
Is he improving?
We don't know yet.
That's it.
That's the truth. This is one of the nation's leading brain trauma centers. Simon has a dedicated medical team doing everything we can to keep him comfortable with me.
Ugh, comfortable? Is that why I'm keeping him here? He doesn't look very comfortable to me. Am I missing something?
I understand your frustration. If it helps, we often describe the situation as going on a journey without knowing the destination.
No!
Bullshit. Right. Okay. It's a delicate process, reawakening the brain. But as Dr. Macy told you, we're in the discovery process.
That doesn't help.
3 weeks is a millisecond in brain trauma recovery. I'm here to manage the protocols, the therapeutic protocols, keep the trains moving, so to speak. You can help by keeping his brain stimulated. Try singing to him, talk to him, read to him.
Read to him? You obviously don't know Simon. And you never answered my question.
Because there is no answer.
I can't live like this.
Dr. Macy clearly feels a conservative approach is best for Simon, despite what... It's all right here.
What's that supposed to mean?
We have some amazing care managers to help you deal with the...
I gotta go.
Eva, wait, look, I know we just met, but I want to help you.
Of course you do.
What if I told you there's a new clinical protocol with much more promising outcomes? And that there's a good chance we could get Simon included as a trial patient?
I'd say, what's the catch?
I'd say no catch.
There's always a catch.
I know you're frustrated. I know you're hurting. I want to help you.
You want to help, Doctor? Start with doing your job.
Eva exits. End scene. 5. Boris in Belen's house. Belen practices speech. Boris listens.
Contemplation, soul. Concepts typically associated with spirituality, but now,
Dun dun dun!
rigorous clinical studies have proven that intense contemplation actually changes the brain's structure.
Remember, there are a panel of aging physicians jonesing for the next tea time. Dazzle them, but not too much.
God, not religion. God with a little g. Your personal spiritual idealism has physical outcomes. So, if contemplation can change a healthy brain, can it change an injured brain? Of course it can. See, now you're thinking.
Nice. I like that last, zinger.
It's not too...
Woo woo. Maybe. Keep going.
Is the subconscious, the unconscious, actually a state of higher consciousness?
Uh-oh.
Stick with me. Carl Jung scaled the Himalayas in search of that answer, at the feet of sages, whose very breath imbued the mysteries of unconscious energy.
You'd maybe lose that part.
Kundalini, they called it. Sacred energy. Jung beckoned. But the sages held tight to those precious secrets. Wouldn't you?
Hell yes, I would.
Spontaneous alchemy. Self-shock therapy. Jung was onto something. And now, a century later, science may have found it.
Bring it home.
By way of brain chemistry, specifically the hypothalamus, the brain's control center.
Bullseye.
In a healthy individual, the hypothalamus is activated via the optic nerve. But what if brain trauma makes the optic nerve unreachable?
What if?
Using a portable headset, my invention, third eye therapy, activates the unconscious through photostimulation of the pineal gland, the third eye's photoreceptor, augmenting what we call reality through subconscious visualization.
Tell me more.
We make the invisible visible to the subconscious, and that changes everything.
Yes!
The subconscious leads the brain through an organic sequence based solely on unfiltered biofeedback,
No!
a phenomenon known in the animal world as dead reckoning. What do you mean?
I mean, you were on a roll there. Let's keep it clinical.
You mean boring? Fine. You know I'm right, though.
About?
Kundalini, Jung, dead reckoning.
Darling, being right and being funded, two very different things.
Well, when you put it like that,
Thank you. Behind every good woman is...
a line of jealous male doctors trying to bring her down.
Whoa, whoa, where did that come from? You don't really think that.
Actually, yes.
Does this look like jealous?
Technically, no.
Well, technically, good.
They embrace warmly. End scene. Scene 6. Cafe. Belen sits at table sipping wine. Eva enters.
Okay, this is weird. I don't even like seeing my doctor in the doctor's office. No offense.
I appreciate your honesty. Look, I think we got off on the wrong foot. I take responsibility for it. I'd like to start over.
If it's any consultation, I know I can be
Opinion
a
leader?
royal bitch. You know, you really don't have to do this.
We're in this together. I'd like us to get along. For Simon's sake. Hope you don't mind I got a head start.
I'm good at catching up.
Eva sits. Belen fills her glass.
We used to come here. It was our place. I had no idea. Not that it isn't a complete mind trip. 1 minute you're complaining about who's gonna do the dishes. The next you're signing powers of attorneys, DNRs.
That thing I said before about being on a journey, Yeah, that. I know it sounds bullshit, but it's actually true. Hear me out. All I'm saying is that along that journey, you need somebody just to listen.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Belen. To tell you the truth, I don't know what I need sometimes. It's this little voice inside me playing over and over. Why me? Why him? Why us? Anything Jesus Ava selfish much? But then why can't I be allowed to love the way things are, the way they were?
What's he like?
Simon?
Yeah,
Funny, sexy, in a totally unsexy kind of way. You know, like the awkward video game playing boy next door. He loves surprises. And Tom Petty. He loves Tom Petty. Not big on yard work, not the handiest guy. He watches me sometimes. Like if I'm cooking or putting away laundry, something totally boring. Just watches me. Which I have to say is completely annoying, but at the same time just totally sweet. Soulmates. This is nice. You're right. I needed this. Thank you.
when we met, I told you about a new experimental therapy. It's actually my experimental therapy. I want you to trust me. I want you to trust me with Simon. Take him off his current treatment plan
And why would I do that?
because what I'm doing, what we're doing, will lead the way to a whole new way to treat traumatic brain injury.
You want a guinea pig.
No, not a guinea pig. A visionary.
This sounds sketchy.
It will work.
Because you say it will?
I need you to trust me.
That's a big ask, doctor.
To be honest, time is the biggest threat here. I'd love to walk you through the trial values, simulation models, but
But,
the time has passed for that.
of course.
I recommend we begin treatment immediately. Honestly, we should have begun this weeks ago and continued for at least...
At least, see, that's the problem.
The problem is that we have a very limited window of time to make long-term gains.
Simon or you?
Okay, that's not fair. I'm offering you a whole new chance at life. The life you loved.
I really don't like the hard sell.
Great, take your time. Think about it. Meanwhile,
I don't do guilt, doctor.
I see all the facts, all the time. Fact is, without this treatment, you're really just marking time until.
Say it.
You do realize what you're doing. Or not doing, Eva. Come on, you're better than that.
Doctor.
Belen,
Doctor, you do not know me. But I know you. This just two friends listening thing? Just part of your whack-ass sales pitch. The tender-hearted doctor, her life-changing treatment.
I am offering you an alternative. Is this really what Simon would want? And I mean, how much longer can you go on like that?
Weren't you the one who said this process takes time?
Maybe that time is running out.
You don't expect me to just...
This is your last chance.
My last chance?
Eva, please, okay. You want the truth?
That would be refreshing.
Maybe, I don't know. Yet, I mean, there are just some things that are beyond science. Does that make sense?
Not exactly confidence inspiring.
That's why I need you to trust me.
Because isn't that what I've been doing for the past 10 weeks? And what?
So you want a guarantee.
I want Simon. 10 weeks? Nothing? Meanwhile, you keep saying
Give it time.
that. And if we were to do this new experimental approach, how will we know it's working?
We're considering considering multiple factors. Chemical changes within the brain, for example, using proton magnetic resonance spectroscopy to monitor metabolic changes.
Let me rephrase that. How will I know it's working?
Eva, we've never done this before. I can't promise specific results, but we want the same thing.
Do we?
Trust me, you'll know. At first, it may be barely there, a glimpse, inclination, intuition, whatever you want to call it. Telling you we're on the brink of something scientifically demonstrable.
I actually believe that.
You'll know. You'll just know.
That's not good enough.
Eva, please. Yes, it's a gamble, but look where we are. You can stick with what you know is not working. Or you...
Okay.
Seriously? You're doing the right thing.
Let's do this before I change my mind.
I'll send the release as soon as I get home. We'll start immediately.
And doctor, please don't think I'm doing this because we're some kind of friends. I'm doing this because maybe I need a miracle.
Eva exits. End scene. Scene 7. Belen's office. Belen stares intently at Paige. Boris enters with lunch. He spots the Oculus headset and puts it on.
Take me to your leader.
Hey, easy there.
Tough day at the office?
Don't get me started.
Boris ceremoniously sets down some takeout.
We are officially off the clock.
No such thing until after this week's presentation. I have spent the past 15 hours
More like 15 weeks.
glued to this activity feed, waiting for something, anything.
A washed pot never boils.
Yeah, but that moment right before it boils, when you just know that is the exact micro millisecond that will change everything. How can you miss that?
Maybe you just need a distraction.
Boris strolls to window and looks out.
It's a shame to be inside when there's a brilliant blue sky just begging to be gazed at from a picnic blanket.
Brilliant blue.
You like that?
Did you know that in the virtually infinite spectrum of colors, blue was the last to appear?
Oh, please no.
In language, art, conversation,
Blue?
until the Middle Ages, humans didn't even have a word for what we know as blue.
Hey, now you're just killing the mood.
Because the mind's eye and the physical eye had not converged to say, this is blue. The pixels on the color spectrum were unrecognizable because we hadn't told ourselves to recognize them. What the subconscious sees, it shares or doesn't share until it's ready.
Actually, now you're kind of turning me on.
Boris, focus, please. This is exactly what I'm trying to show them. That we open the gateway to the subconscious. We see infinity.
We being...
The patient. The patient's subconscious directs a journey of what some would call the soul back to the body it nested in.
Vested. Nice. But don't want to know why that matters in strictly medical terms.
It's an avenue into awakening, into returning for a minute, an hour, or a lifetime to this existence.
That's a hard concept to prove.
Well, what about this? We see a thing, a cloud, a seashell, a hummingbird. But is that what's really there? Or what our subconscious tells our mind to see?
That's profound, my love.
Think about states of prolonged inactivity, a brain injury. Is the physical body dead or alive?
In limbo, as they say.
From the Latin limbus, which means border or the edge.
Whatever you do, do not go all Latin on them.
Heaven, hell, that's where the term comes from. And if that's not your dogmatic cup of tea, how about just somewhere neither here nor there? Scientifically speaking, we're demonstrating non-conscious activity, like a soul half-life.
Okay. Devil's advocate. If the soul has a mind of its own, a life of its own, wouldn't it just do its own thing no matter what?
Probably.
So we're really just
Opening the gate.
two?
Something more.
So, Langer said you skipped the department's breakfast mixer.
Does it look like I have time to schmooze?
You need the board's seal of approval.
Because let me get this straight. The groundbreaking therapy on its own isn't enough of a reason to.
They need to feel included.
They're jealous.
They're trying to help you.
They had their chance.
They're antsy.
Week 15, maybe 16 if you count calibration. We're just getting started.
Ask for more time.
They'll never give it to me.
Then what?
We have to get there faster.
There?
There, wherever that is. Don't you see, we are officially out of time, out of options, out of excuses.
You could change the values.
Way too late for that. It would look like a cop-out. No. This will work. This has to work. It just has to.
Boris strolls across, picks up the exit. He looks closely at it.
Why?
Why?
Why this? You've had plenty of, shall we say, more attainable.
Because what if I can find the bridge between this and not this? A bridge between consciousness and
Subconsciousness.
infinity. I believe the soul works, lives independent of the physical body, if it has to.
That's not a medical theory.
Since the dawn of times, humans have mythologized the soul's migration away from the physical body, right?
This is supposed to be about brain injury recovery.
It is. I'm just trying to help you see, help them see. There's more than one way in. Oh,
Let me guess. You need some
Need some
alone
alone
time.
thank you for understanding, darling.
Belen kisses Boris. He's surprised. Boris exits. Belen puts on the headphones and dives into her presentation prep. End scene. Scene 8. Meadow. Hospital. Simon sits sullenly. Ruby teases him with her movements. She nibbles on something. Ruby catches him watching her.
You were waiting.
Maybe.
I'm glad.
Oh.
I know you think I'm a show-off, window dressing, not much more.
I do not think that.
You don't know me, Simon. You don't know what stirs me, what takes my breath away, gives me goosebumps.
I'd like to know.
What, and skip all the sappy romance? A girl's not gonna just walk over and give you a laundry list of things that make her weak in the knees.
I'd like to know you.
Do you love poetry?
Well, I guess I like it all right.
There is no like. There's either you love poetry or you don't.
Is there an I don't know?
Do you speak Spanish?
No.
Ugh, that's a shame. It's the language of poetry, many would say. Rigid, unfailingly consistent phonetics just begging for the unreal. Unstructured soul, chaos of subtext, subconscious. You know, to stir things up. Lo eterno es hueco, es forma, es alma, esa imposible sed de la memoria.
Lights up. Eva is seated in the hospital room. She removes a small book and looks at it very skeptically. She sighs with frustration and reads towards the bed that is facing upstage.
Read to him. The eternal is a gap, a form, a soul, that impossible thirst of memory. Bodiless and without substance, nothing but wind and dreams.
Las palabras, viento tejido por los sueños, almas al aire que el silencio olvida, estatuas de la ausencia insomnes,
Words
despertar de la nada hacia la nada.
by dreams, souls in the air which silence forgets, insomnia, statues of absence, waking from nothingness to nothingness.
Hay sombras en los sueños que no son de las cosas,
In dreams, there are shadows which are not of things,
sino cuerpos quizá de las palabras, ánimas de los nombres.
but maybe the body of words, the soul of names. The resurrection
de la
of
llamada.
Paul.
Para poder morir son las palabras, salvación profunda de la vida.
Words are to help us die. Profound salvation of what's gone.
Tiempo enamorado que habla.
Time speaking in love.
What does it mean to you?
Maybe that things aren't what they seem on the surface, but we aren't what we seem on the surface. Something hidden, like a dream.
Like we have identities beyond the physical one? Does that scare you?
The home?
The idea that someone, something could all together be not that, but rather nothingness.
Or dream identity. But what about the other one?
Maybe we just bury it so we don't have to deal with it. Maybe that way you, me, whoever shows our true self, it's easy to say, oh, I would have never guessed.
Never saw that coming.
Just seemed like your everyday run-of-the-mill.
Is that what you're afraid of? A life ordinary?
There's no such thing.
I want to know you.
You can't. And you already do.
I want to be your glow.
See,
your
now,
aura.
now that gives me goosebumps.
Why do you hide from me?
Simon, you know I have a plan.
Compete, right?
That's just what has to happen.
Or
No, or just is. Look, I love that you find me,
luminous.
but
But
Ruby looks at Simon. She removes her book and finds a verse.
They carved the stone until it remembered.
entallaron la piedra hasta que recordará.
Armies like echoes printing the hills, lances and arrows pointed with death, and swift spirals that slide down the river.
Ejércitos como ecos que estampan las colinas, lanzas y setas ciertas con la muerte erizadas, y volutos veloces que deslizan el río.
Plants and beasts, lavish tributes, and identical slaves sunk in a number.
Las plantas y las bestias, tributos derramados y hundidos en un número idénticos esclavos.
They extracted the world from rock.
Extrajeron el mundo de la roca.
They boxed time in,
Le pusieron 4 esquinas al tiempo
and within walls they guarded the interior of space
y guardaron en muros lo interior del espacio.
to create a whole, a courtyard, the nothingness of the abstract, the coin in one's hand, the wheel that empty moves on.
Somos el despertar de su escritura, su mundo interno, su añoranza humeante.
We are the waking of their writing, their inner world, their smoldering longing.
La materia es un hueco que soñamos.
Matter is a hole in which we dream.
Eva moves towards the bed. She leans in and gazes at Simon. As Eva turns to leave, she hears something. She turns back dramatically. Eva stares closely at Simon. Nothing. Eva, visibly disappointed. Ruby gazes at Simon.
Nothing else matters really.
Ruby exits. End scene. Scene 9. Meadow. Ruby moves meticulously through the garden, as if cataloging the experience. Simon enters.
you're leaving soon. I can tell.
We're all leaving. Constantly. Isn't that beautiful?
I'm not so sure.
Even the flowers, nothing more than show-stopping goodbyes. We adore them for what they are.
I thought you loved it here.
I do.
Then how can you leave it? Just like that. Just like it never even mattered.
Simon, my whole being is magnetized to what lies ahead.
Campeche.
Campeche.
Then what?
I don't really ask myself those questions. Because if I did, I'd only have to pretend I know the answers.
It seems like we just met.
And like we've known each other forever. Oh, sweet flame of campus. I could honestly lose myself forever in your untamed glory.
I'll miss you.
Please don't. Don't box me into memory that fades into barely there-ness.
Oh, you can never, ever.
That's not my style, Simon. Never will be. Long for the here and now.
Simon looks at the space as if seeing it for the first time. He has the crushing realization that the world he has finally grown to love is about to change completely. He is overcome with emotion, maybe tearful.
I'm scared.
Ruby moves to Simon and takes his hands.
Can I tell you something? Right here, right now, is my favorite thing ever. Thank you for sharing that with me.
And what if I'm not ready to leave?
Simon, you hold on too tightly. You can miss the next soul-shaking, beautiful experience, and for that, I could never forgive myself.
I don't want you to go.
I'm already gone.
I don't understand.
You will. I promise.
Ruby moves away. She stops and beckons.
Have I shown you the desert willow that's officially stolen my heart?
He rushes to her side. They exit.
I tell you, that much beauty in one living thing. Almost sinful.
End scene. Scene 10, hospital room. Simon lies in bed. Eva enters tentatively.
Simon, I think this is maybe goodbye. I love you so much. I'm afraid I maybe held on to you just a little too long. That you, Jesus, it's cold as balls in here. I don't know how you can. Remember our first vacation? Miller's Landing? What a dump. You tried so hard to make it not such a dump. And they had that old school air conditioner, you know, along the wall. That thing just hummed and squealed and squeaked all night. That felt so good. You hated it. That hot outside freezing inside feeling when you need to crawl under covers in the middle of summer and you kept getting up in the middle of the night to turn it off. I'd sneak up and turn it on, and then you'd turn it back off. I swear I could have killed you. I didn't mean it like that. Shit. It's just... Are you in there? Still? Or have you gone somewhere else? Somewhere beautiful? I hope so. I mean, if you have gone, I hope it's somewhere beautiful. This is it, Simon. Really. I need a sign. Something that says, hey, I'm in here. Or hello. Or fuck off. Anything. Because we are stuck in this no man's land and I don't know how to get us out of it. Well, I do actually. But for so long, I just couldn't. What if? Come back to me, Simon. Come back. Can you do that? Or is it just my dream that can't come true? This is very irritating, Simon. You know I have control issues. Don't make Chola ever come out. Oh, pinche pendejo, levántate este momento. Because you're missing the best part. I made a decision. Maybe I should have made it a long time ago, but I thought, I hoped, I prayed that this whole thing was working, that you were in there, just waiting to come out. If I could just be strong enough, and positive enough, and patient enough, but I can't. never there. That little taste of heaven, and I knew right then. I miss you, Simon. I will miss you. I'm going to kiss you, and I'm going to pretend you're kissing me back. Otherwise, well, I don't know what I'd do otherwise. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know.
Eva leans over and kisses Simon.
I love you. I want those to be the last words you ever hear from me. My sweet, humble, awkward, sexy, best listener in the world, only soulmate. I love you.
Eva looks at Simon. Eva exits. End scene. Scene 11. Belen's office. Belen works. Eva enters brusquely.
Do you think I'm a fool?
Eva,
I'm not a fool. I'm not blind.
I'm not following this.
I've been trying to reach you all week.
I'm sorry, Eva. Reported
You said I'd know when it was working. When he's responding, you said I'd know.
Yes, I did. And I still believe that if we just give it some time.
I'm out of time, Doctor. You're out of time.
You have to have faith, Eva. You have to believe that soon.
I want him off it. I spoke to my attorney, and she says I have the right to.
Nobody's questioning that.
Then what are we waiting for?
Can we just stop and look at the big picture?
Ugh, do not patronize me.
We are just beginning to evaluate them. We are making progress here. The hospital, the directors, the researchers, they can't wait to see the results, our results.
Your results.
We're 1 week away from our report, just 1 week.
You're a selfish little climber, aren't you?
Eva, I didn't mean...
Oh my God. You're that girl.
The what?
The girl in the mirror evaluating her marriage proposal like a business prospectus. It all makes sense.
I'm sure you're confusing me with...
It's all about you, always. All about your invention, presentation, all about you being the hero. But you know what it's not about? Simon.
It is all about him.
God, I actually believed you. When you... He is not getting better.
We don't know that.
What do we know?
We know that his vital functions are stable.
Do you think I'm stupid? Because that is the same crap you've been telling me for months. And
We need time to paint the bigger picture, to report on whether the stimulation is producing effects in the dormant sections of the brain.
dormant,
That's one way of...
you make it sound like, oh, this little temporal lobe. And yes, I do know what that is, thank you very much, is napping. Like it hung a little do not disturb sign in the hotel door, which everybody knows does not mean do not disturb. It really means I'm doing something in here that shall remain nameless. Thank you very much. So what I want to know is what are you doing in there, doctor?
Eva, you're being...
What are you doing to him? It's cruel. Keeping a man alive so that you can add one more footnote to your scholarly article? You know what, doctor? That's evil.
We're trying to save Simon's life.
Really?
We are trying everything humanly possible to access the part of his brain, the unconscious that remains awake.
Bullshit.
We believe, it's only a matter of time.
Until what? He blinks?
Maybe.
Maybe that's not good enough.
And you're qualified to decide that.
Let me tell you what I am qualified to decide. Doctor, actually, let me show you.
Eva removes legal form.
Eva, please, do not do this. We need more time. He needs more time. I promise we will let you know if this isn't producing the results. We will not just keep Simon hooked up to some...
Sorry, doctor.
Please, don't do this. He needs this. This is his last chance. It's working. I know it is.
Do you, Dr. Belen? Or is it just some obsession?
We want the same thing.
Jesus, just how desperate are you?
Emma, this isn't you. It's your emotions talking. Can't you see? I mean, totally understandable. You're overwhelmed. You're not thinking straight.
I'm not.
So maybe we're both emotional right now. Why don't we just take some time to...
I was a fool to believe you, doctor. To let you take advantage of my trust. And I tried to believe, but it's just not true.
Eva, let me go over some of the recent activity towards you.
It's done, doctor.
You're not seeing the big picture.
Please stop saying that. I'll tell you what I do see. Simon? The real Simon, he's gone. You get that, doctor? Gone.
It's very typical to feel that way. But that's no reason to.
The saddest part, I can barely remember the sound of his voice. He had this crazy Philippa Room laugh, you know, kind of a ha 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 ha, and it could just change everything.
There's still a chance Simon will.
I need to let him go, doctor. I can't bear to see him in the shell. See not him in the shell.
You realize what you're doing.
Wow, you are actually going to make this harder.
There's no turning back, Eva. Not from what you're doing.
Demanding.
Demanding. I just want you to understand that what you're feeling is all part of the process, but that's no reason to.
Leave us alone!
Eva looks at the form. Eva places the form on Belen's desk.
Let him go!
Eva exits. Belen slams hand on desk. End scene. Scene 12. Meadow and hospital. Lights up center stage. Hospital bed faces up center. Lights and sound design define two different spaces. Lush outdoors, stage right, and sterile hospital, stage left. Ruby enters stage right as Eva enters stage left. Ruby moves gracefully, remaining stage right. Periodically, Ruby notices her surroundings. Eva sits by the bedside. She stares out, unaware of Ruby. Ruby notices bed. She continues her movement while watching the bed. Belen enters stage left. She rotates bed to face down center. Simon lies in bed, wearing headset. Belen looks at Eva. Eva nods in confirmation. Belen tends to Simon, unaware of Ruby. Belen disconnects wires from Simon's hands and from the headset. Belen gazes at Simon. Ruby gazes at Simon. Belen gently touches Simon's shoulder. Ruby gently touches Simon's other shoulder. Belen removes the headset. Ruby gasps, then exits suddenly. Belen exits stoically. Eva looks at Simon. She drops her head into her hands. End scene. Scene 13, hospital bedroom. Belen approaches a podium.
Esteemed colleagues, department representatives, thank you for the opportunity to implement the world's first limited clinical study of the therapeutic effects of hypothalamus stimulation via virtual reality technology on patients suffering severe brain injury. Our ambitious clinical trial aims to harness the same technology that turned the world virtual through a gaming Oculus into a transformational medical advancement. I'll get straight to it. We need more time. Of course, we realize that, and while my team is grateful for the hospital's generosity regarding resources, research, even personnel, we simply need more time. No, we're not grasping here. The fact of the matter is, despite measurable results on traditional response mechanisms, your team is convinced it's our professional opinion that the stimulation is working, just not in the demonstrable manner in which we hope to evaluate it. Yet. So, while I don't have the results I'd hoped to share with you today, I have a promise that this is not just a clinical trial. It is, with your support, the beginning of a whole new protocol. Would you have us abandon something so transformative? Because what? We aren't making headlines fast enough? Is that really what you want? I am being reasonable. I am being very judicious. We are simply asking for an extension. 6 months, maybe less. That's a small price to pay for offering a chance to return to life. Are you going to stand in the way of the biggest innovation in brain trauma recovery since? We have one patient. We had one patient. Yes, 16 weeks almost. Yes, we understand, but we're not asking for a yes, we are asking for an extension. Just a little more time. You do want this to succeed, right? Or are you all about preserving the antiquated therapies that keep patients almost alive until... Well, I'm sorry, where was I? With all due respect, no, without all due respect, you are wrong. You are putting your egos ahead of medical advancement. Oh, I'm out of line? You're out of line. Actually, fuck your line. You don't appreciate this kind of language. Well, of course you don't. I should have known you'd never allow a woman, a Latina, to achieve any meaningful success under your watch. I should have known you never really wanted this to succeed. Well, I do now.
Belen exits. End scene. Scene 14, Boris in Belen's house. Boris enters carrying a paper bag. He locates a platter, then carefully arranges Mexican pastries.
Who's the badass who fought off 3 angry vejitas for the last concha? You know it. It was a pink one, too. Your favorite, right?
Belen enters carrying a book. She walks past a platter of pastries and curls up on a chair.
Belen? Sweetheart?
She begins reading. Boris gently removes the book from her hand.
Mexico, a solo adventure. The astonishing travels of Santos Guerra. Solo adventure? Are you trying to tell me something?
Please. It's a book about a place 100 years ago.
It fascinates you. Why?
Please don't hover.
It's hard. This heaviness, it's, this.
This? There is no this. Okay?
Okay.
I'm fine, really.
You are not a failure. You did all you could for
Do you think that's what this is?
this. Oh, so there is a this.
Of course there's a this.
Because you said there was no...
This is the this. He is dying. Without brain stimulation, the body just shutting itself down. He's letting himself die. It's just a matter of time now, and I cannot pretend I wasn't this close.
He was barely...
I cannot pretend I didn't feel the energy draining out of him when I took out that one last hope.
Maybe you comforted him.
He was alive.
You're a doctor, not a miracle worker. Honey, you're making great gains for the advancement of subconscious field manipulation therapy. Even if
Even if what, my darling?
well, the results?
There will be no results. Not anymore. I will never be able to prove he was getting better. What if he was unraveling perceptions, experiencing things, realities we can't even imagine, waking up?
What if he wasn't? You don't want to think about that what if, do you? Jesus, Belen, you're acting like this is your first clinical. I mean, come on. Have your little meltdown. And for God's sake, can we please get on with our lives?
Well, aren't you just the magician? Snap. Mine's all better because Professor Boris explained the third grade primer version of the clinical trial process.
Belen, what are we doing? What are we doing?
The best we can.
I think we can do better.
Oh well, look who just grew a backbone.
Arrogant.
How dare you lecture me?
It's your pride that's hurt, not your feelings. Here, I thought you actually cared about this patient, this human.
I did care. I do care about me.
Me?
Of course I do, but can I want more than this? Can I want what he found?
He was dying. You want to die?
I want to be alive.
And this is...
Being not dead.
Belen sets down the book. Belen exits. Scene 15, Campeche Wilderness, Belen's office. Ruby enters with small travel bag. She's entranced by her surroundings. Ruby pulls a fruit from her bag and savors it. Q enters. He is Simon, dressed in rich red, and with a brighter demeanor.
You found it.
It's more beautiful than I ever imagined. More everything.
I know. Wild orchid. Of course you love it. You don't remember me.
Who really remembers anybody?
It was a lifetime away. I was, me and not me.
So was I.
You were lovely. Sorry if that sounds a little personal.
The air is lush and dripping with perfume and so bright, like swimming inside a pomegranate.
It's just that I'd really like us to,
Have you ever seen anything more perfect, more wildly breathtaking?
well, actually,
Ruby turns away, then moves around the space. Q struggles to follow.
That feeling, you know that they say like you've never been alive before this moment. Now is where it all begins.
I knew you before you came here. Do you remember the place? It was something like this.
Nothing is like this.
It was where I lived.
I've been a lot of places.
And now?
This, just this. I'm Ruby.
Ruby? This is all for you. I'm Q. Short for Kitab.
That's beautiful.
You will love it here.
I already do.
The flamingos, they winter here. Thousands of them right in this one little mangrove bed.
You're so unordinary.
We can get closer if you like.
No, I like them from right here. Q, if you don't mind, I'd like to...
Of course.
Q exits. He stops and turns around.
When will I see you again? I want to see you again.
You will. I promise.
Lights up and left, revealing Belen at her office window, looking out through binoculars. Boris enters. Belen quickly lowers the binoculars, placing them next to the headset.
No sudden movements.
What are we doing?
It's my hummingbird, a ruby bird. She is.
There's nothing there.
Well, not now. You scared them away.
Them?
There were two of them. Must have heard you clomp in. You know they're very sensitive to sound.
I know. Sorry.
They're here for such a short time, and then gone.
Dead reckoning.
Exactly. The ability to be in one place and intrinsically, intuitively navigate your being to a completely different, completely remote destination. I do love them.
I know.
The Aztecs believed hummingbirds were their fallen warriors, reincarnated, forever following the sun through the heavens.
That's a beautiful legend.
Or theory, Doctor.
Right, because our mind sees something completely different than what we physically see or think we see.
Something infinitely more.
More what?
Just more.
We're still talking about hummingbirds, right?
Hummingbirds or not hummingbirds. Boris, did you believe? Really believe?
My darling, I believe you believed. So, are we still on for lunch?
I'm starved.
How about las cazuelas, quesadillas, guacamole?
Maybe Indian?
Even better.
Boris turns to exit. Belen remains at the window.
Knock knock.
They exit. As they reach the doorway, Belen stops them.
Really?
I forgot. I have one more report to send.
It can wait, honey.
Just one email. It has to go out today. I'll meet you at Marigold in 20. Swear.
Okay.
Boris turns to leave. He stops, turns and faces Belen.
You know, sometimes people just say they want Indian when they really don't know what they want. I mean, if you really don't want Indian, I'd like to know.
I want Indian.
I don't think you're hearing me.
Boris, darling, it's been a tough run. I know.
Don't.
I need to tell you that I want Indian. I really want Indian.
Me too.
20 minutes.
Belen surprises Boris with a kiss.
19 minutes. 50, 55. Make that 52 seconds and count them.
Boris exits. Belen returns to window. She looks at binoculars, then headset. She picks up headset and puts it on. She sees something that changes her expression, turns from curiosity to bliss.
In another time, you taught me that things aren't always what they seem.
So you're saying this?
Is maybe more than what it seems. No, not more. Just not only.
Not only.
Ruby walks to Q. She takes his hands as they share a tender gaze. Ruby exits. Q pauses, then exits in the opposite direction. End scene. Scene 16, Belen's office. Boris clears items off Belen's desk, replacing them in a moving box. Eva enters and watches Boris silently.
Excuse me, I'm.
Eva. Boris, Doctor.
Yes,
We met during his first week of.
I remember.
I'm so sorry.
I'm looking for Dr.
She's on leave.
Oh, well, I just wanted to. The last time we spoke, well, it's like you're in this bubble. No, like you're outside this bubble. And you can see everything that's going on inside. But you can't touch it, because what if the bubble bursts?
I actually understand.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I'll let you.
Eva turns to exit. Boris returns to packing. Eva stops abruptly.
It was working.
Boris continues packing.
I said it was working.
Yes, I heard you.
Did you? Because I just said this weird, unconventional hypothalamus therapy, it was working.
Boris stops. He walks to Eva. He places a hand on her shoulder.
It's too late.
What do you mean it's too late?
Too late. Over. Finished. Defunded.
But he?
You tried your best. She tried her best. But sometimes, well,
Boris returns to packing.
You're telling me because one patient doesn't.
he was the only patient.
Why?
Because, well, nobody here really believed it would. Because we couldn't really prove because, look, I have to ask, why does it matter? I mean, why now?
Because it was working.
Well, not to be insensitive, but it's not what you seem to think when.
I was wrong, okay? I couldn't accept it. You know, didn't have the vision.
But you do now.
Okay, I deserve that.
Sorry. I have no right to judge you.
No, actually, I have no right to. Can you tell her, please? I want her to know. I want her to know. She deserves to know. I was scared, okay? Scared. I mean, you cannot understand unless you feel it. But something was happening. I know that now. Something. I could feel it. I was just too scared to admit it. I panicked.
We do the best we can.
Eva collects her things.
Doctor, did she leave you? Not that it's any of my business. I just.
She left. I don't know where or how long.
I'm sorry.
Boris returns to packing. Eva exits.
Eva,
Eva stops. She turns to face Boris. He looks at her and slowly smiles.
thank you.
Eva approaches Boris. She pauses as she stands facing him, then she kisses him affectionately on the cheek. Eva exits with a peaceful smile on her face. End scene. 17. Campeche Wilderness. Q constructs a campfire. Belen enters. Q stops and looks up.
I know you. I think I know you.
I'm different.
I see. I like it.
Yeah? You too.
Oh, don't let me interrupt. I was just watching.
Yes. You always are.
Are you Simon?
Simon? We were, one, two.
I thought so. I imagine.
This is what
Remains?
springs forth when the body surrenders. But you already know that. I'm Q.
You must miss him. You. Oh, that part. Sorry.
Beloved, don't be.
Q approaches and takes her hands. He releases hands, then returns to work.
Simon. Q. Do you believe in the soul? I used to think I did, but that was just soul as a concept.
And now?
My abuela was a healer, curandera. Could barely read, but she believed she could see souls, interpret souls. I remember her telling me stories about el destino del alma, the destiny of souls.
Did you believe her?
I do now. The way she described the soul departing the body, to take on a life of its own, it's like there was nothing more real in the universe.
Maybe there isn't.
She never stopped seeing them. She said, even after the world, her family came to think of it as just dementia, or worse. But she knew. One day she disappeared. Family legend says she returned to Mexico, died of us.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But she wasn't alone. Now I know. She was surrounded by souls of every color and outfit.
Like this?
I hope. Q, are you just passing through, or am I?
Both.
Both. That's a hard concept for me.
Oh?
I've always preferred more to both. In fact, I've spent my whole career searching for
Why?
it. Guess I never stopped to ask myself.
So, what happens now? Will you keep searching?
You make it sound like some obsession. Honestly, I was this close to proving what I knew. If I had only gotten one more patient, one more round of funding, one more... Yes, Hugh. I will keep searching. Maybe just not in the same room.
I like that.
I get it now. All this time I've been trying every scientific way possible and impossible to see the soul. When all I really needed to do was let the soul see me.
We do. To tell you the truth, I actually feel like I'm searching too.
I happen to know you have a soul. Here. Wait.
So will you. Someday.
Did I help you? Help Simon. Ben. There.
Maybe I was lost. No. Stuck. You unstuck me.
That feels good to hear.
Belen exits.
Belen,
She stops, still facing away from Q.
did I help you?
Belen exits. End scene. Scene 18, Boris and Belen's house. Boris and Eva sit at dining table.
Okay, is this weird?
Honestly, a little.
Let's make it not weird.
As in,
Like, maybe we can agree what this is not.
so for example, this is not some poor me club.
This is not some skinky hookup.
This is not me being angry.
This is not me being lonely.
So, what is it then?
I guess we have to figure that out. And I'm not saying that to be coy.
Boris stands and clears the table.
So, that stuff, you know, the subconscious therapy Simon was doing, was it really working?
I said it was.
Or did you just want us to think you thought that?
Why?
So that we'd keep trying?
It was working.
So now?
It's nice to have a new friend. Someone who cooks a pretty decent microwave lasagna.
My specialty.
I thought I'd feel sad. You know, and I did. I do. It's the what do I do now I wasn't prepared for.
If it makes you feel any better, no one ever is.
Even when I thought it wasn't working, it still felt good to be that central to someone else's,
Survival?
yes, for both of them.
Eva, do you ever
Whoa,
regret?
whoa, whoa, whoa. That definitely falls into the this is not category.
Right.
I like thinking there's a bigger plan, that he found a universal connection. She taught me that.
Yeah. Me too.
So, tell me, friend, what would you do if she walked through that door right now?
Boris looks towards the door and imagines. End scene. Scene 19, beach in Campeche. Ruby strolls to center stage. She looks out over the ocean and takes a deep, calming breath. Ruby lifts her hand to scout the sun's position. She reclines, facing the sun, and gazes out. Q enters. Ruby notices Q. She looks out at Sun as she speaks.
This is my favorite part.
Art?
Where it hangs right there for just an instant.
Oh, that.
For just that instant, you were eye to eye.
You know you're not supposed to look directly at the sun.
Metaphorically, I mean. Poetically speaking, if you must.
Belen enters. She reads from a letter she's writing.
My dear, sensitive, loyal, beloved. I feel poetry. Here. I feel it in the waves, in the mist, and the way the sand reorganizes itself along these perfect little cascading lines. Which, I must confess, does appeal to the scientist in me, from a purely golden mean perspective. I am finally alive. More than I've ever been. Seems like I spent my life trying to keep other people alive. So, is it odd that I find myself in Campeche, rising with the sun, and scrambling to the water's edge to deliver hatchlings to the ocean? Not so much. Sea turtles, tiny, keeping them alive. Strictly a volunteer thing, not like I'm some Jane Goodall. It just feels good. I don't feel all powerful or superhuman, just alive. I can feel my soul. Don't wait for me, my darling. Don't look for me. Follow your soul. I love you.
I was watching you. Being here, being stillness. I'm here now, and that's all that there is. This is my second favorite part,
Oh?
where the blink of an eye cools the shade down on the turquoise sky. Sometimes a drop of lusty coral, or tempestuous tangerine, or mood-altering lavender, or nothing at all. It all changes, and nothing changes.
Why do the good things never last?
Because maybe that's what makes them good things. I mean, if it was just your all-day, everyday, predictable, whatever, well,
It's gone.
gone and hidden are two very different things.
Yes, they are.
Let's call it moonrise, not sunset. See? That changes everything.
Ruby pulls out a small book.
Quisiera ser volando,
I'd like to be flying,
solo en el viento seña, frágil dibujo que encendida ando, en sumergida sombra mirada plena.
alone on the guiding winds, delicate pattern that glows with energy, and in the deepest shadow reveals all.
Con mi vida escribo las huellas de una estrella,
With my life, I will write the footsteps of a star.
bajo una muda noche amanecida.
Beneath the stillness of twilight, there is a flight that opens an inner light.
Un caminar sensible del corazón despierto.
The simple journey of the awakened heart.
End of play.